Hey there, this is Dr. Pam Perry. So today we're talking to a journalist, a bona fide journalist, a storyteller, a former magazine editor, and doing all the things with magazines and media. So if you want to know how to crack the code on media, this will be a good one from the publicist perspective and then from the journalist perspective of how these two worlds meld for your marketing. So you can get out there and get known. So we'll bring Lindsay Ruffin, who is also part of our hot seat, and Darilyn Hudson right up right after this, and we'll tell you all the tea about how you can get the media exposure you want.
Welcome to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast. Join Pam Perry, veteran PR strategist, Emmy award-winning producer and publisher of Speakers Magazine, who will show you how to crack the code in getting out there to get known. Each week, she either interviews her media friends, PR colleagues, or she just goes solo, offering you strategies on publicity, publishing, and platform building. So listen up to hear how to get booked on media places and on superstar stages. Now, here's your host, Pam Perry.
Hey there, as promised, I'm bringing up Darilyn and bringing up Lindsay. So we are Darilyn is in the hot seat today. So before we actually dive into this, let me just tell you for the next hour or so, we're going to guide you through how to really get media exposure. So we do these hot seats every Friday, and we go over really the marketing of how to get yourself out there and get known, which is the name of the do. What I'm going to do is share. Okay, what's that going on? All right, we're going to share. All right, do I need to mute? Who's going on? Who's muted? Let me see. All right. So what I'm going to share is really the process of how to get media. So example, today someone says, "Hey, can you write a press release? I want to get into the Charlotte Observer." Yeah, you can write a press release and then get into the Charlotte Observer, but part of the thing is why don't you just reach out to the Charlotte Observer? What reporter do you know that covers that beat and then get it going that way? So that's one of the things we're going to kind of talk a little bit about how a publicist works with reporters. But I want to say that Darilyn, the first time I heard your name was at Schoolcraft College. And at Schoolcraft College, I think you were doing a seminar, I believe.
Okay, yes.
Writing or something like that. And I was going there because I was doing my Zumba class. So I was only going there and doing my Zumba class, but I'm always nosy. So that's part of my journalism training. You just nosy, you want to know everything. And so I'm nosy. So I look on the bulletin board and I'm like, it's a Black woman because your face was on there. And I said, what is Schoolcraft going? If people don't know, it's a college in Livonia that's primarily always white. And so I was like, what is she doing here? And I saw that you were doing a seminar about writing, I believe it was, or something like that for the journalism school.
How to be a freelance journalist.
How to be a freelancer. So that caught my eye. And then I said, oh, let me look you up. And so then I looked up, and I think at that time you were the editor for Black magazine.
Black.
I believe, yes, for Black. Yes. And so kind of, we linked in and that sort of thing. And I just know that in terms of media, you need to have, if you're a publicist, media people are your friends. And so at that point, I didn't try to pitch or anything because I didn't have anything to pitch you. But then there was one particular story that I pitched to Darilyn, who that person happened to have your name. So that was a good story. And it was about a story about Detroit. And really the Darilyn, that her name was Darilyn as well, pitched her to you, and you found a story and we ran it. But that was probably maybe a year or two after I saw that flyer. But part of being in PR is that you have to remember who does what and remember names and faces and all the things is always going in your head because you're always looking for a place for your clients to go. Or if you are an entrepreneur, you're looking at bylines more so than the stories so that you know where stories go and who writes what. Now, being a freelancer, which is what we're talking about today, it's a little bit different because you're not writing for one beat, but you do have like a genre that you write in. So that's kind of like my backstory about Darilyn. And so today she's in the hot seat because she's not only a freelance journalist, and she'll give us some information about how that is working out for her, because I sent you something and you're like, I'm good with a freelancer, but also too about how people can really maneuver their stories from in their head to like being on television or magazines, which is primarily your main thing. So give us a little bit of your background, and then I'm gonna have Lindsay give a little bit of his background as well. Well, let me have Lindsay give his background first, and
Okay.
then give us your background, okay? And then we'll kind of dive into and kind of guide you over the next hour about how to really get what you need in terms of media contacts and how to pitch and what's appropriate and what's not. All right, so Lindsay, go on.
Sure. I'm Lindsay Ruffin. I am a cooking show advisor. I specialize in teaching chefs how to start a cooking show and build it into an online business. And when I joined Pam, primarily what we're talking about. So with the chefs, we're talking about leveraging YouTube as a not just a marketing platform, but a business building platform. And so when I joined Pam, I'm speaking in the context of how to use YouTube for any type of business, not just a chef building a food business.
Yeah, yeah. And YouTube is one of the main leverage tools that we talk to about Ready, Set, Go, Speak. So, Ready, Set, Go, Speak is a community that was started in December. So, it's about 6 months old now, going on 6 months old. And we have some of our members. Janine is here and Sandra is here. And I think Jackie is here. I can't see it's under there. I can't see that the next row. But really, primarily every week, I'm giving them media leads, how to pitch, who to pitch. I don't tell them what to say because that's in the program. That's in the Branding Accelerator program, how to pitch them. But then also too, I give them speaking opportunities as well because one of the main things of anybody is just whatever business you're in, you want to get on other people's platform to expand your brand. So when I say other people's platform, media is a platform. Also, this is a platform as well. You're on other people's platform. So you're going out to uh, other eyes and ears are hearing your content. So when other eyes and ears hear your content, if you have good messaging, if it resonates with that audience, you get more sales. So that's the whole point of Ready, Set, Go, Speak, getting them ready, set, go to speak on stages and also in media places. So those are the two areas. And so if you can't get on the stage and if you can't uh, create your own stage, like a physical stage, you can get on YouTube. And that's what we're doing here. And that's why Lindsay is here because he says it every week. I can't believe, Carolyn, can't believe how many speakers do not have their own YouTube channel and they want to speak. I was like, you can speak all the time on YouTube. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. We're just trying to get people to get past that, right? So that is really the whole point of the show, to really show people how to leverage Ready, Set, Go, Speak to really reach their media goals, but also too we want to help you in terms of like how to maneuver where you are right now. It's like you got two jobs basically now. You're kind of like you got a business and then you're also doing the freelance. So kind of explain your backstory and then where you are right now.
Well, Pam, I just want to say thank you. I know this existed, and I want to appreciate you and say thank you for saying yes to me today. Um, and so I'm from the west side of Detroit, went to Cass Tech, ended up going to Atlanta, went to Spelman for undergrad, and stayed in Atlanta for a long time. My very first writer's job. I'm one of the fortunate ones, Pam. I always knew I wanted to be a writer from the time I started writing. I knew that that's what I wanted to do as a career. I didn't know which type of writer. I didn't know I would lend myself more to magazines and newspapers, but I knew I wanted to tell stories. Um, so my very first job was at Upscale Magazine with Bernard Bronner. We worked in his
Yes,
basement.
the Bronner Brothers.
Um,
Yes,
Bronner Brothers, yes, had a magazine. They still publish a magazine in Atlanta.
they
Um,
still do.
from there, I went to the Source magazine, so I was kind of thrown headfirst into hip hop, which is crazy, very
Mhm.
misogynistic, very crazy stories. I mean, it's it's interesting. I'm a woman of a certain age, but all of these stories that are coming out, I live them. That was my life.
Wow.
All of the misogyny, the drug use, to get the story right. So I worked for
Yeah.
the Source a long time, and that led me to Vibe to Double XL. So I got an opportunity to really tell really great hip hop stories. And it was a really great fun time in my life.
I'm gonna stop you right there. If for
Okay.
those of you who don't know those magazines, those are at the top of the chain of the hip hop, right? The circulations are thousands, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 readers a month. All right. Those are like the top ones. So XL Source and Vibe. Now that's not my demo, but I do know of them because you got to know a little bit of something, all the media, but that is like major. So going from upscale Bronner Brothers, it's still it's long. I mean, that's magazine's probably been around 25 years or so, I'm thinking.
So
Um,
I would say about 25. Yeah. I would say
yeah,
about, I
yeah.
think they started 1990, 91.
Black owned press, we talk about it all the time. The Bronner Brothers, if people don't know, they're the hair care people. They're the one that does the Bronner Brothers shows and all that kind of. And then they just had this idea or this passion to really take the fashion from their events to put into a magazine. And it's very upscale. It's a glossy. I used to see them in airports all the time, but the print industry has changed. So go on, go on. So I just want people to kind of know your backstory, like what these magazines are and what they mean, because most of them were within a certain niche. Okay, go on.
No, I was very interested in telling those backstories. I went from Ebony Magazine to, I did a really long stance at Black Enterprise, which kind of led me into the business sector where I really got inspired by the business and entrepreneurial side of music and entertainment, because a lot of us enter the industry in entertainment because we think that's the route to go. But it led me into business. I got an opportunity to write for Vogue Italia simply from
Hmm.
them wanting to have Black representation. They got it years ago. This was, I want to say, 2014, 15. They have it's called V Black and V Curvy. These are micro sites off of their major website. And it's all Black content, Black models, Black designers. And they hired a lot of freelance writers in America to write those stories. It was the
Okay.
first time I had ever gone to New York Fashion Week. And I have to tell this story. As a Black journalist working for Black publications, it's always hard. You're always constantly fighting to prove your value, constantly,
Mhm.
especially the big markets, big brands, big events. You hear these stories about people going down the red carpet and completely ignoring Black media.
Yeah.
I lived it. I've been there. But going to the New York Fashion Week as a Vogue writer, people shake your hand differently. They look at you differently.
Wow.
It's a completely different experience. And Vogue
Wow.
Italia gave me the opportunity to kind of flow into fashion. And I've been writing for fashion pretty much ever since.
That is so good. You know
So
what? You just mentioned the red carpet because the other day, one of Destiny's Childs, now I can't think of the name of the young lady. Anyway, one of Destiny's Child, she was on the red carpet and they were rude to her. They were grabbing her. It went viral. I want to say Michelle, but I don't think it was Michelle. I think it
it
was the
was
other one.
Kelly Rowland.
Kelly. So
Yeah.
Right, I get Michelle and Kelly confused. I don't get Beyonce confused, but Kelly, Michelle. So it was, and she told her, she says, "Listen, I'm not your mama. I mean, no, you are not my mama." And she really, and she said, "I was the only one on the red carpet, Black, and you're grabbing me and you're kind of pushing me and telling me to move on." And that is from the entertainer side. So I can imagine what the media side,
And
how
she's
they
Kelly Rowland. Okay, let's just preface
right.
that by saying you can imagine how someone like me, Daryl and Hudson from the west side of Detroit, trying to get on the, yeah. Once they let you on the red carpet, you can imagine where they put you on the red carpet.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. So
I
so
don't have
that
those
is
experiences anymore, thank God.
yeah. But those are the things that are just happening. I mean, that happened the other day.
Oh my God,
So,
still.
the red carpet situation, basically you're behind a little rope and the people walk through and the reporters they're pushing, or the photographers, Lindsay's a photographer, they're pushing, it's like you're trying to get a
Yeah.
shot and
Don't put me in that.
but no, I'm just saying, like, a camera. So if someone pushes you with the
Yes.
camera, it's rude because you can't get the shot, right? And this is what they do. And then if you're a woman and a photographer, they really push you back and you can't really get the shot. And anyway, the whole thing is, like you said, it's an industry that really needs And that's why we have organizations like NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, to kind of advocate for us. But anyway, so go on. You're doing fashion. What is your beat now? Primarily fashion and entertainment and business.
So I ended up leaving LA. I worked in LA for a really long time, and then I ended up moving to South Africa for a year. I got an opportunity to work with a publishing company in South Africa, which led me to have arms and kind of GQ South Africa. They have an L South Africa. I don't know if you know,
They have a
but
full South
they're
Africa too. Mm-hmm.
well, you know, they're able to buy these imprints and produce their own issues in their homeland. You know, so they'll buy what is it called? It's not purchasing, but a licensing agreement
Okay.
to do GQ in South Africa or
Mm-hmm.
L in South Africa, Cosmo in South Africa, and they have their own publishing houses and everything. So it was a really great opportunity. Me and my daughter stayed there for a year and a half, came home, and then the pandemic hit.
Okay.
So,
So now you got to stay
so
here.
yeah, just now I'm in a mentorship phase now. So, gathering a lot of journalists together to mentor. I'm in my mentorship phase of my career because I
Mm-hmm.
can write about anything I want, Pam. I have the freedom to do that, and I'm very grateful and honored to be able to do that. So, yes.
Yeah, and I want to thank you too. You did a story for one of my clients too, the Pink Fund, and that was one that you did that ran on the front of another Black-owned newspaper.
Yes, it
So
was.
one of the things when you uh, meet a freelance writer that has written so many different things, you can, and I'm telling this to Janine and Sandra and everybody who's here, who's listening, if you have a story idea and they have written for, say, Cosmo, Vogue, or Essence, or Black Enterprise, you can actually pitch them the story, and they then pitch the editor. You see what I'm saying? So you could pitch the editor directly, and then the editor's got to scramble and try and find the writer, or you can pitch the writer, and the writer pitches the editor. So that's kind of like how that could work. And there was a story for, I think it was Ambassador magazine. I don't know if it's still around. Is it still around?
Ambassador! Oh my
Is it
God!
still
Yes.
around? It's still around. Okay, so Ambassador is still around, and
Is it?
I think so. But anyway, I
No,
pitched.
I don't think so.
It's not okay. So it was on.
You
It
haven't
was
been around
Black.
in years, honey.
It was black owned. And one of the main things is that you can pitch. I pitched a story to a freelancer who then did this, wrote, pitched it to the editor. I think at that time was Dennis, and it ended the front cover of the magazine. So
Amazing.
freelancers have that power. So I want you to excuse me for a minute. I've got to plug in my computer, but
Okay.
uh, Lindsay, if you can carry on from here for a second, and you and Darren will talk. I'll be right back.
Sure. I'm not sure what are we, how can I help, Darren? What are you trying to accomplish that I can help you with, if anything?
So, Lindsay, I am in my phase of mentorship, right? So I am always looking for opportunities to mentor aspiring journalists. I put together workshops, we do courses, we do YouTube. You guys were talking about YouTube. I am now in the process of writing and creating videos on what the process is to write an article, how to pitch. I get that question asked a lot. How do you pitch? So I'm in the process of creating that template for what it's like to be a journalist. So you say, what can you do for me? Shoot, help
You're
me
in
to get that.
business. You're in business. So he's a business coach. Okay. So this is the thing. I'm going to right now, the word that you used, that I think Lindsay, you may have told me this, or maybe another person. Mentorship is really what we do for when we don't want to get paid. Coaching is when you want to get paid. Okay. So we mentor kids. Okay. We mentor kids. That's out of our heart. We mentor kids. You're an adult, you hire a coach. Okay. So we're gonna get that right there. Unless you're
Consult,
independently.
coach, advise. Yes.
Yes, unless you're independently wealthy and it's just like, hey, I can just mentor all day. It's not a big deal. Just pick my brain for free. Okay.
I'm in my coaching phase. Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
So way more opportunities to speak and to teach and to
Yeah.
train.
Yes, and that's what and what you said in teaching. The first time I ran across you was you were teaching or speaking at Schoolcraft College, right?
Detroit pulled that out of me, Pam. I mean, I've gotten so many opportunities in the city of Detroit to do that. And I'll say this too. When I came back to Detroit, because I've come back and forth, I've lived in so many different places as a journalist, I would never really get lot of opportunities, or the opportunities that I got, they were never paying a lot of money, honestly.
That's
So I couldn't make a living here as a journalist. I had to go outside of Detroit to make a living. But since I've
mhm.
been back since the pandemic, I've had so many opportunities for training, teaching, and speaking that it's really opened my eyes to what was possible. And that's only been from being in Detroit.
Okay. And then when you were at Black Magazine, you were there for a while, but Black stands for um, Black lifestyle
Lifestyle, arts, and yeah,
then culture. So that was
culture.
kind of like the whole area what you really were passionate about. It's not like you're writing for politics and you can have all kind of beats, but that was really like your passion point because it was a
Yes,
combination of everything that
yes.
you've done, like, culture. So what I see, Lindsay, what we can help her with is being a journalist, like she said, she's wanted to write ever since she could hold a pen, is really taking the whole journalism mindset where she is. And a lot of people, we're passionate about something, but we don't know the business side of how to market and how to promote ourselves. So, starting with something as simple as a logo. Lindsay, I know you always talk about me and the logos. And then and then we go to the website and that kind of thing. But if we are starting where Darilyn is starting now, what are some of the first things that she should do first? Promoting herself is not a problem because she has media friends. She can call anyone basically in the industry. Media people hang around other media people, but what is her messaging going to be and how is she going to get clients, coaching clients or customers, I guess you would say, because you sell media journals, I guess you would say media publications.
They're media directories.
Directory.
Yeah.
They're
Mhm.
directories. Yeah. So that part right there, just letting people know that you have media directories on an ongoing basis via email is good. I don't know necessarily on social media, you probably can, but email directories, people can click and actually buy right from your email if you're creating an email list. But Lindsay, if she is starting right now where she is with the skills that she has, what are some of the first things that she could do? First, understanding your ideal audience is primarily journalists.
So
No.
No.
I have to elaborate just a little bit more, Lindsay, on what it is that I do. Um, because we do a newsletter that shares freelance pitch opportunities. That
Okay.
newsletter goes out every week. We do a directory of media outlets because I've written for so many media outlets. We do a wide media directory that has magazines from Hearst, Condé Nast, Meredith, PMC. There's a black section. There's a local section that I added, Detroit, Atlanta. Those media outlets there. There's a podcast section. That's why it's called the Big Fat Media Guide. So we do that every year. That I am obviously trying to sell more issues of. But we start the subscription started out with 8 and we've grown to 1,010. So to be able to engage with those journalists and editors in a meaningful way, um, is what I want to do, obviously. So we do a lot. We do a lot.
Who these 1,000 subscribers to? These paying customers, or is this your email list? When you say
It's
subscribe, who are these
they're
people?
not paid. They're subscribers to the newsletter.
So
Okay.
you're sending out this for free to them for them to find jobs as a freelancer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. People pay for that, right? Like what you doing? So I think she's sitting on a bunch of cash. What is this brick bad or something?
I
No,
know.
like wait,
Who
this is
who is your ideal client?
Fellow journalists, editors, publicists, small businesses as well that are looking to make those authentic connections to magazines, and nonprofits. Like that directory would be beneficial to a nonprofit.
Um, that was probably at least 3 or 4 different groups, maybe 5. Um, we got to focus that because even though uh, this may be useful to multiple groups, if you communicate about it in in a general manner, nobody's going to think you talk. They're not going to hear what they need to hear. So uh, when you're communicating about your products and services, you want to identify an ideal client to where when they hear your message, you immediately get their attention because there's just so much, and you know this as a media professional. There's just so much demanding demands upon our attention. We got all of the different social media platforms. We got all of the streaming platforms. We carrying around this little device that's chirping every 2 seconds. If you're not communicating in a way that speaks to somebody's immediate need or a pain point, they're just not going to hear it. So uh,
We
you
help
may
Black
be able,
journalists to get paid. We help Black journalists to make more money in the industry.
Ah,
We
okay.
help them
now
to
that,
tap into their
That
innate ability to create stories. So
so
I
but, yeah, that first part right there got my attention, and it will definitely get the attention of Black journalists who need to make some more money.
yes,
So
yes.
something like that, like you gotta. So that this is an excellent example. You said that part got my attention, and then you kept talking, and I was like, that part right there. We got to focus on that. That's something short and sweet that gets people's attention. So,
Mhm.
you
out
don't
of
think I'm
those
limiting
groups,
myself by saying the Black? You don't think I'm extra X Xing out all the white journalists or the white publicists that also need this directory? Because it's not just
well,
Black in the directory.
well, so you said it. Now we can remove the Black part. We can say you help journalists get paid,
Yes,
which
yes.
we can say that. So, um, helps journalists get paid.
But all of the interviews that I'm doing, I'm not sure if you're doing it as well, Pam, but most of the people that I interview are Black.
So this is the thing that I always say. It's kind of like the same thing with resumes or anything. Are we going to pigeonhole ourselves if we're Black? If this is the market, this is what I can speak to. This is what I'm expert in. I'm unapologetic about being Black. Now, am I going to not let white people come to whatever they want to? Of course not. They can come, but my prefer who I resonate with the most are Black journalists or Black small businesses or Black speakers. Speakers Magazine is a part of Black Speakers Network. NABJ is, and now if people want to go to Spelman, if they're white, sure they can, but it's built for them, built for us, right? So that's all I'm saying, because now you can start with the target and then you can expand out.
Yeah.
But if you think of the market of Black journalists, there's probably 20,000, 30,000. Can you use all of those people as your customer? If you could dominate that one thing, then you can
Hell
reach.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So you're like Media Bistro, but the African American version. Is there
Yes.
one like that?
Yes.
So blacknews.com, Dante Lee, I'm just give you
No.
Dante Lee's a friend of mine. Dante Lee is Black News, right? He makes millions. Okay. And it's just Black News. It's blacknews.com. So if you have something that you want to get out to all the Black journalists, newspapers, you put on blacknews.com. All right. And he charges basic like less than $500 to get your press release on blacknews.com. He's done that for 20 years. Has he reached all the Black people in America? Probably not. so so he's still going to stick with it. But white people put stuff on Black News. He's got McDonald's and all kind of customers, white and Black, but it's just his niche. So that's what I'm saying. When you say, and I talk about this a lot, that journalists don't make a lot of money, especially starting out. Sometimes they can graduate from school with a college degree in journalism, and their first job is making $17,000 a year or $20,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and they're writing 4 or 5 stories a week. It's like it's really asinine. And if you're African American, you're the lowest on the totem pole. So a lot of people don't get to the top of the totem pole because they don't stay there long enough to even matriculate up. So they get so frustrated. They're making $20,000 a year. They got these school loans or whatever, and then they leave the industry. So they never get a chance to like make it to the point of being a city editor or being a producer. They just don't. So then you don't have anybody who's at the top of the food chain to pull anybody up that's African American or to mentor them because they left. They went to go do something else. They went to law school, whatever they did. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could say, I help Black journalists to get paid. And so this is my program. This is the things that I do. These are, so that's one. Like Lindsay said, there was three things that we heard. We heard that you also help business owners. So business owners need the directories. So maybe that is just a product that the business owners,
Yes,
but that
correct.
along with having someone hear all the contacts, they need someone to show them what to say and how to do it and what to pitch and whatever. So then that's a whole nother part. But the thing of it is like, what is the biggest check that you see that people are coming to you for? And then what is it you're most passionate about? Because I don't say don't just chase the money, but what is the most passionate about that you could do all day, every day and get a lot of customers and clients just like that?
The the biggest paycheck are the brands that are looking for media strategies, and they're usually looking for opportunities to enter into the Black culture, and they have no idea how to do it, right?
Hmm.
Um, the publishing companies that are looking for groups of Black writers, that has been very beneficial because it gives me an opportunity to reach all of their editors in chiefs at once, right?
Okay.
Especially the editors in chiefs that want to hire Black writers. That was very successful for me. Um, and yeah, the opportunities to speak, opportunities to turn what I do into speaking opportunities. Yeah, those have been really surprisingly beneficial, surprisingly money makers.
So when you speak, though, you have to direct them to a funnel. You're directing them to somewhere else.
Yes,
You're
well,
speaking.
yeah, these are nonprofits, local nonprofits that are asking me to speak, and they're specifically helping small businesses. So
Okay.
it'll be a group of small businesses and the nonprofit that have culminated that group. They've asked me to come speak about a specific media challenge or a specific, whatever. There's how to set up your LinkedIn page, how to present yourself to the media, how to create a press kit or something really specific.
So you're like
And
a
they pay me big
consultant to
money to
them.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like a consultant to them as well.
That's yes. I haven't even
Alright.
pitched myself as such.
Right. That's because we got all these markets and all these products and all these things, and it's just like because it's like if I go to the website, it's like, well, what does she do? And what Lindsay was saying, it's like I don't know if she's speaking to me. How can she help me? Now I did put in for the Ready Set Go Speak the directories that you sell, so that they know that it was just that one link and one URL that they could buy the media directory. But once they
Absolutely.
buy
Absolutely.
once they buy the media directory, they have me to really guide them through how to pitch. But if someone just buys it, are you available? Do you have a program that shows people how to pitch?
I do. I mean, I was just talking to Lindsay about this too, because one of the things I want to do is I want to work less. So I want to automate all of this. My book is full of 400 media outlets, and I have 400 different videos on how to approach those media outlets because I've written for all of them. You have a contact. This is how to pitch to
Now,
them.
wait,
This
wait,
is
wait. You have 400 videos?
no, this is what I was telling Lindsay that I'm doing. I'm creating all of this content so that it's just you push a button, you pay for it, it's available to you. So
Okay,
because I
I
get
get
I get calls and emails constantly. Can you connect me to the young lady at the Today Show? I want to pitch them. Sure. Here's the email. Here's the contact information. Well, what do I say? Well, here's the link to what I talk about how to get on the Today Show. So yeah, I want to automate it all. So I'm going through that process through the summer to automate my website. Yes.
it's it's the
What
funnel that you want. One of the first things I want you to do is really look at the industry that you're in and look at all the influencers in that industry. So one is Media Bistro. You're familiar with them, correct?
Absolutely.
So Media Bistro has a business model. That's all they do. You got to pay in order to get their job
Anywhere.
information, right? But you're sending yours out
I know, Pam. I know.
Okay. All right. So I'm
I'm
gonna
not,
let Lindsay go.
okay.
Okay. We gonna get that part
So
fixed. Okay.
I'm working on it.
these institutional clients, I'll call them the folks who want to work with Black journalists. How what's how does the service work that you provide to them?
So with Hearst and Meredith, I went through their diversity department and asked them, are you guys looking for an opportunity to connect authentically to a group of Black writers? Because I just found a lot of the editors, what they were tweeting about it, they were Instagram, we're looking for Black writers, we're looking for Black writers. So I saw that it was a pain point for them. So I approached them with an opportunity. We at that point were a group of writers and we all had a wealth of experience. So we went to them as a group. And instead of just getting kind of one-time articles, we said, hey, we want these writers to make a certain amount of money. We want to tell a certain amount of stories. And we like for this program to last a year. So that was very beneficial to us because I got a retainer and I got a monthly fee to conduct meet and greets. We got all the food writers together with all the food editors. We got all the travel writers with all the travel editors. And one great thing about going through that diversity department is once the editors come to us, they already understand the wealth of what a Black writer. So we're not selling ourselves. They simply want to retain really great writers. So that worked for us. It was right after the pandemic. It was something very similar to what Ms. James did for the 15%. She held those companies accountable and said, hey, we want 15% of what's on the shelf at the store to be Black products. And it's kind of the same thing with publishers. We want a certain percentage of the content that you do to be Black, to be, writers of color. Yeah. I'm sorry
How
that was my
how
answer. My answer to the question.
okay, yeah, that's what I needed. How are you corralling, for lack of a better term, your writers? Where do you have these people so that you can reach out to them when you have an opportunity for them?
A lot of them come from Facebook group. Some of them come from Instagram, but they're also my personal peers that we used to get together
Okay,
during the pandemic, and they've grown.
stop right there. Yeah, that's fine. So what the first part of this automation that I recommend is that you create an online community, a paid membership community that these writers, these journalists will join. They're going to pay for access to this because this is how they get to put themselves in the mix for these opportunities. This is where you're going to have these folks like Pam's Ready, Set, Go Speak communities for public speakers, for example. I have a community, an online community for chefs, and those folks inside our communities get access to all kinds of opportunities that we don't extend to anybody else. And it
Where
makes
does the group live? Where does the community
it's on the
live?
internet. It's so it's
It's
think
it's
of
an
it like
app.
a
It's an
like a
app. And
Facebook group, except it's not on Facebook. There
right.
are tools that you can use to create. We use Mighty Networks. That's one I recommend, where you basically create your own version, your own private version of Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever you want to imagine it as. And just like it works just like a social media platform, the only difference is they're paying you for their membership.
Like
And so
Patreon, kind of
everything
like Patreon, right?
Patreon plus many
And,
more features.
Yeah.
So
oh,
Patreon is a payment gateway, but you really need to add additional stuff to it to be able to deliver benefit. Like it just doesn't, it's the tool for collecting money, but then you need to have tools for delivering the actual services that you provide, your online courses, for example, that people Patreon doesn't do that. Patreon provides the payment gateway, and then you can add that other stuff via other tools. Whereas if you use Mighty Networks, all of that's integrated. Everything that you need
Mighty
to,
Network. Okay.
yep,
And I'll send you the
networks with the
link.
S at the end.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
Because
everything that you need to collect
Mighty Networks.
payment as well as deliver the services is all integrated into one platform.
Got you.
And so
Okay.
inside within that platform, you can also you could have a tier where you're selling access to these institutional um what are institutional clients that I call them, where who are looking for like their
They're
point of
writer
contact person.
programs. Yeah, they're writer programs.
That might be the person who has a membership inside your community so that they can get access to these journalists. That's one way you could do it. Just
That might
trying to
be
structure
tricky.
this.
That might be tricky because we work it out so that the magazine pays the writers. I don't know how we can pay. I don't know how we could charge writers to get into the program. I guess we could.
Media
Well,
Bistro
you're
charges
providing a service to the writers, right?
Media yeah, Media
Yeah.
Bistro charges $150 a year, and people have access to it. Writers, publicists, all the people that you mentioned, they're part of Media Bistro. They want access to it. It's a payment gateway to whatever the information that they're sharing. So
Okay.
that's all it is. That's why I said, like, are you
They have
checking your
opportunity to make money from their membership with me.
yeah,
So
and
it doesn't
and you're
doesn't it doesn't matter that they're making money from my opportunity. What matters is they're paying a monthly fee to get access to that opportunity.
right.
Okay, I got it. I got
Well,
it now.
they work together. One of them doesn't matter. They work together. They have to. Otherwise, you're just providing a service for free. What
I
if
want
they're
you to
not
get this
paying
book,
you?
Carolyn.
Then
This book.
you're just providing a service for free. So we're not doing that.
Yeah. This book
Subscribe.
right
Okay.
here is a national bestseller. It's called Subscribe: Why the Subscription Model Will Be Your Company's Future and What to Do About it. So this is basically like a Netflix, right? So we pay
Yes.
for Netflix, and people pay for a whole bunch of apps they don't even know what they're paying for, right? So this right here will help you understand the business model that you want to have in terms of, like, when you said automated. So get a system, and I'll send you the link for Mighty Network so that you can use my affiliate link
Okay.
uh, for
Okay.
that. But I within it, Lindsay helped me set it up. We do lives, which this is streaming live. We have programs in there. I have my PR Power program. I have a Brand Accelerator program in there. There's a Virtual Media Summit in there, which I interview people just like you, from Vicky to Vince to all the NABJ members. That's in there. And it's only just in there just for the members, right? And so they're in there for a year, and they have access to me. They
They
can
can
chat
watch it
with
at
each
their
other.
leisure.
They could watch it at their leisure. They could chat
Yes.
with each other. They could chat with me. They could even do their own webinars within there if they want to, for each. I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like it's everything. And then you can even have like a tier version, like what Lindsay was saying. You can have like a version that just where they have access to the writers, or you can have just where the writers have access to this, or all the different, how do I say, all your different
Tiers
target
of,
audiences. Yeah,
of
your different
interest.
target
Like,
audiences will have different things within the whole thing. Because right now when I go to the website and I see so much and it's like I don't know where to go, right? But if you could put the products on the side, you could have your media directories on the side, and anybody can buy those. That's in there as well. And you can make that public. So it's different ways where you could use it that I think would help kind of solve the overall business model that you're trying to put together. It is
yes.
automated, but it's
Yes.
it's subscription, and then it's a subscription. It could be your different audiences that you're talking to. You could go live in there. You could talk to the journalists. You could do the mentorship that you want, but they're paying you for the mentorship. Whenever people are paying for they're paying for transformation. They're paying for not just the information, but for you to be their accountability person, the person that talks to them, and if the more they put into it, and the more they will get out of it. So you can always add to it as well. But it's one of the things where your Facebook group, and I always tell people, don't have a Facebook group, because Facebook group can lock you out. Girl, Facebook
Of
people are
your
just
own
like,
group.
of your own group, of your whole thing. They could just shut you down because you don't own it, right? And I've had people come to me in tears as, I can't get to my group. People are paid to be in my group, and Facebook shut me down. I can't even get to it. I was like, and you can't call Facebook, right? It's like,
No, no, you can't. No.
they don't care. It's like, well, it's a free tool, so you shouldn't have had your paid people on Facebook. Okay. So it's like, sorry. Uh so that's kind of like the thing. The big fat media guide. The thing with that is that you could do the big fat media guide, but then you do it once a year, but then you could always update it within your community, because people are always changing all the time. So you could do the big fat media guide, but then also know that they get the updates within your community.
Well, they do. Yeah. Whenever I update it, whenever someone loses their job, goes into a new job, the PDF is updated automatically.
Is that
for
how it's delivered? The media guide is a PDF.
It's delivered in a PDF. You download the PDF, but when we make updates throughout the year, it automatically updates.
And
So, for
they
example,
pay
when
for this.
when
They
the
pay for
editor,
this guide,
they
it's
pay
right?
for
99.
that?
Yes, it's paid. Yes, the Big Fat Media Guide is paid for sure.
Okay. But
It's
when you update it, how are they getting if they've already downloaded it, how are they getting the new update?
because the way that the PDF is set up, it automatically makes updates.
Even they download on their own computer.
Have you ever downloaded the Big Fat Media Guide?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a download, and then we're going to make updates in a week or 2 weeks, and you'll see that the names and the contact information is updated.
But it's not it's a PDF that is a part of a program? Because if I have a or like almost like a Google Docs type of thing? Like I'm trying to
Yes,
figure out
we created it in Google Docs. That is correct.
okay.
Yes,
That
we
was the part
created
I
it in
was
Google
missing.
Docs.
I was
Yes,
like, how is it gonna be up? Okay, so it's a live document that you have the
that is
ownership of
correct. It's a live
and they
document. Yes.
okay. All right,
Uh-huh.
I get it. I get it. All right. So that is they should be paying for that. That's a lot of
Who
work. The
who's the
main
customer
I
for that?
know. I know.
is a lot of work.
I'm
Who's the
sorry.
customer for that? Who's the customer for that?
Oh, that so the customer for that would really be fellow. Oh, you don't want me to say four people, but it's fellow
Who's
journalists and
paying you for it now?
publicists. Majority publicists are buying this book.
And businesses?
Businesses
I'm
are they're not the largest market, and honestly, I haven't been really marketing to them. I'm going to start, but publicists have been the largest market of this book right now.
okay. So the affinity groups for the people that you're trying to reach, are you a part of that? Are you part of Black Public Relations Society? Are you a
Yes.
part
Oh
of
yeah, absolutely.
PRSA and all those groups? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
National
Can you tell us?
NABJ. Yes. Go ahead.
Are you okay with how much does this media guide cost?
It's
Are you
ninety
okay
nine
with sharing?
dollars. It's $99.
And you update this all year?
I do.
Yeah, that's
I
that's a
know,
problem.
I know, I know. You mentioned Media Bistro. You know they sell these books for like $700, $800. So
You
I
know
know.
what Cision sells theirs for is online. You know what theirs is.
No.
It's $5,000 a year.
Yeah. So
That's what I said. Do you know the industry that you're in? It is so me and my publicist friends, 5 of us go in to get one Cision. And so we have one account. We kind of like well, saying out here now is this we're not supposed to be doing
well,
that. But
Do
it's
you feel like it's
$5,000 a year.
current? You feel like it's current and updated?
It's always updated. It lives online. It's actually their software. It's their proprietary software. So it's not
um,
on Google. It's a proprietary software. So it's $5,000 a year.
so
But Pitch
this is
TV
an
works the same
excellent
way.
teaching point, Daryl. And this is because there are a lot of people undervalue, underprice women and Black women specifically, underprice the products and services that you deliver. I want you to think about, and here's how you can. This is specific to you, but I'm talking to others as well to try to help you understand how to price things, how to come up with a number rather than just picking something out of the air. What is the effort that it would take for somebody to get the information that is in that guide? How much time, how much work? And now we start developing a price based on that. I'm without even having ever seen this guide and actually knowing what's in it, I'm certain it's going to take more than $99 worth of effort to get that information. So why are you only charging $99 for it? We because if you're saving me, if I download this PDF and you save me even just 1 week of work, my time is worth so much that I'm here, take this money. So now I got this guide that I can just turn to, do a search or pull up page 17 or whatever it is I need. I'm going straight to the information. So now that I can move on to whatever this bigger thing is that I needed this information to unlock. So also think of not just the time that you're saving them, but what is the value of the opportunity that they're using this information to pursue. So that, this is now this book, this guide becomes a lot more valuable because it's the keys that they need to open the doors that they want to open, or even know where those doors are to even. So yeah, $99 for a year, and you're updating this thing. That's
I just put something in the
that's
private
ridiculous.
chat. So Muck Rack is the competitor to Cision, and they both have annual plans, and they don't typically list publicly. Like you got to get on a demo with them and all that. But Muck Rack is about 10,000 per year, and Cision is about 7,200 per year.
And that's to just get on their website and search.
That's
That's
just
the
to get on
search.
the yeah, exactly. And so one of the things too is that, there's other services out there that are less and that kind of thing. I recommend a lot of times for people to go to PitchDB. It's very similar to a Cision, very similar to um, a Muck Rack. And or people can do it themselves. A lot of times people just figure out how to do it themselves and they'll go through LinkedIn and that kind of thing. But it's a lot of work. And so if you've already done the work, people will say, I will pay you, and you're updating it as well.
And we're also attaching links on how to reach editors, how to pitch editors. So
So
if you
you're
want,
teaching, you're
we
teaching.
have a link on how to pitch an editor at Essence, how to pitch an editor at SSGU, how to pitch an editor.
That's so you training people. You're giving them all the information and you're training them for $99 a year. Um, you're paying more for that guide than your customers are. And I
Yeah,
see this, I see
that
this
part.
a lot uh, with Black women business owners, particularly creating businesses where the product or service that they're delivering, they're generating such a loss. They're actually paying more for when they get a customer. They're paying more than the customer is paying. You charging somebody $100 for something that's costing you several $1,000s to deliver. You're paying more for it than they did. So yeah,
Kind
we
of.
we got to stop that. So we need to update this, change this price. You're also not on the right platform. Google, using the Google Doc with a PDF, you're going to have problems gating that so that only paying customers are getting access to what you're providing. And they're
I would.
also just tools that are easier for you to deliver the online training components of it. Like we got to get you pricing correctly, using the right, and also using the right tools for delivering the service.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Pam.
Yeah, because there is a way, even if you put it in Google Docs or there's ways where hackers could get it. Like sometimes I know my way around the internet and I will put in something and I'll put in da 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 PDF, and the PDF that people are charging for shows
Will
up in the
come
search
up. Will
results,
come up.
and I download it. I was like, oh well, they didn't know. And it's
Well,
just those kind
safeguard.
of things where the Mighty Networks was created by a woman who used to own Ning. I don't know if you remember Ning back in the day, but she owned Ning and then she sold it for millions of dollars and then she started Mighty Networks. And so this particular one is a really good platform. I like it better than say like a Facebook group or those kind of things. Though the Facebook could be a feeder to your paid, but don't have your paid community in free platform.
In Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, why I pay? It's free, that it's just a whole positioning type of thing. So in terms of you getting in front of the right people for what you're delivering, obviously you're going to NABJ, are you not?
I'm a member. I run the mentorship program.
Okay. All right. So we want to make sure that it is ethical though. So it's just like, oh, I'm mentorship over NABJ, but then also too, I got a program. So you want to make sure that part you have the lines that they know the services that you're selling is not what you will be delivering for free, right?
Well, I want to keep mentorship as mentorship and coaching as coaching, obviously.
Yes, yes. So
Yes.
that's you have two different languages. So that will be good. It's like you can mentor, but then I also have a coaching program. I have a coaching community and whatever you want to call it over in this particular one. Ours is Ready, Set, Go, Speak. So it is where people can have access to me, but they're not like my only private client, but it's a group program. And so they still get a lot of value out of it. but they are clear that it is paid, so they can email and chat, with me, and if they have questions, want me to look at a press release or a picture, that kind of thing. That's all included in Ready Set Go Speak. And so that part you could do, and you could set it up any way you want. And the support for the network is really, really good. I mean, Mighty Network has its own network of people that you can talk to as well. And they have
Oh, okay.
trainings and that kind of thing. Yeah, they do. They have a lot of trainings, and they give you ideas of how to run it. But you can run it the way you want to run it, but they'll give you ideas of how to do polls and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I see you really getting this together. It's not the
Yes.
systems, it's
Yes.
the business model of it and the messaging of it, of how to sell it in terms of making it an offer so that people who you see this for actually knows how to get it. Because even if I wanted and I went to your website, I wouldn't know where to go. So right now we've
Mm,
got to like create a different way where you're messaging it, because you just have it all up there, but it's like, and then also too, I will say this, your background is not on that site, like who you are, who Darylyn is, your
What is
award.
her website?
What's your
Is,
What's
website?
can we
what's
put it in the chat? Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
It doesn't say like why you're the leader, right? Like
okay.
it doesn't say why you're the leader. And so you've started here, from college, your first job, to this and all the way, writing for Ebony, all the plum jobs that every journalist, aspiring journalist, would want, you've been there, done that. So, but then also too, people know that you know how to pitch because you've been there, done that. You've been on the opposite side. And so you have producers, editors, and all the media people as your friends. That's a value. That's a big value that you have that no one else has. That's why you
Absolutely.
said the biggest part of what you just said, you said the biggest part of your people that are buying those things are are the journalists. I mean,
And
are the
publicists.
publicists. Yeah,
Publicists. Yeah.
publicists. Because you have something that they don't have, because they've been working for the client to get them in the media, but you've been in the media. So of course they're going to pay you $100.
Yeah.
It just makes their job easier.
You just make that $100 seem so, and we celebrate every time we sell a book. And now I'm just like, I'm
Girl, put
getting
that in
so
there.
much
What?
insight. Yeah, so much insight. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It is one of the things that even Janine or Sandra or even YB in Ready Set Go Speak, when they're putting their things together, it's just like, okay, look at it. What value are you delivering for that? And how to deliver that
Price it.
value.
Yeah, the price it right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So by me putting it in the private chat of what's Muckrack and Cision are doing, hopefully that has been enough of
That's
a.
crazy. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy.
But it's not crazy,
Absolutely
because
crazy.
it's
if they're
not.
publicists, if they're a publicist and the publicist makes, for a private client, they have a private client doing about $5,000 a month, right? And this private client is like, I want you to get me in a bunch of stuff. They're gonna pay this 75 $2,000 for the year, because their client is paying them $5,000 a month.
Yes,
And they have a lot of clients now that are doing this. So that 10,000, if they had two clients, it's already paid for.
it's
You see
already
what I'm
paid.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's where you kind of have to look at it as well, because they can't be running around all over the internet trying to update and who left the job, and figuring out where. Yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
thing.
I see the value. I see the value.
Good.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, are there any other questions that you have of me or Lindsay? We did mention YouTube, so I don't know. Before you kind of get into the YouTube, we want you to get your messaging right.
I don't have any questions, right? I mean, no, I don't think I have any questions because I know what I have to do. I know what I have to do. It
Okay.
yeah, it's a lot, but I know what I have to do.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's just really, you have the information. You just have to structure it differently. And this book will help. This one here. And then also too, there's another book as well. I just happen to have all these books here.
Okay.
Lindsay just been reading a whole bunch of books. This one here too as well. Design a community and change your life.
Okay. Okay.
I won't tell you about the other book, Lindsay. We'll talk about that one later. That'll just blow her mind.
Oh,
But those two are a good start. Those two are a good start, and everybody in Ready Set Go Speak as well. Those are
Okay.
those are really the good start. If you want to join Ready Set Go Speak, I invite you to do that so you can see how I work it and run it as well. It's a companion to what you would do as well, so you can kind of see the things that I'm doing, and then you can replicate it as well. So readysetgospeak.com, look at it and see what it is and how I position it and pull it out there so you can kind of see like, oh yeah, I could do that for this. And that's the
Yes.
same thing. Like Lindsay has one for chefs, and he's the one that got me started to do mine the way that I'm doing it now. And it's been
Oh,
6 months.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really easy. I mean, and I'm not a big techie person, but I know my way around and can work it. It's very intuitive. And then the customer service is the main thing. They have great customer service. They really do. Real people from America that you can talk to.
Oh, that you have to say that nowadays, right? You have to say that.
Like
No,
their customer service, I can
from
really talk to them.
America.
Yes, I can really talk to them. It's like, you understand what I'm saying. Like, thank you. It's like, okay. All right, cool, cool. Well, this
Absolutely.
has been really good.
Thank
Thank you guys for
you.
Man,
joining
real
us
quick,
today. Yeah, yeah.
Daryl, I want you to focus on those institutional clients, those organizations that want Black journalists. Once you've established yourself with those, you've gotten them as clients and they need these Black journalists. Now you have, so you have what both sides want. Go
Mhm.
after the big side first. So the institutional clients that once you've gotten them and you can say to the journalists, hey, I got all these opportunities, but you need to be a part of my community. For that's the only place where I share these. Now you have the thing that will get them, you're getting paid from both sides now. But you got to start with where the jobs are, where the money's going to come from, get your programs together for them. And now you have what will pull the journalists in. And yeah, that's where I would recommend you start, because
So
this
start to do
this
these pitches and proposals to the publishing houses
Yes,
more so than
you
worried
said
about growing the subscriber list.
correct.
exactly.
You said that those publishing houses are where the big checks come from, right?
They were where my big money came from. Yeah.
Okay,
And they'll come
so
back.
fewer of those generates way more money than getting all of these subscribers.
And a
And
bunch of subscribers
once you've gotten these publishing houses, the subscribers are going to come.
will
they,
come.
they want the opportunity, so they're you're showing them, yeah, I got people that's looking to hire you, but you got to sign up here first. I'm not just I'm running a business here. So
Mhm.
that's what I would recommend to you: the focus your efforts on the big check, and then after you've gotten that established, everything else will fall in line.
Cool. Is Conas one of your clients?
Condé Nast, they are the only one that's not.
Okay, you need to go after them.
I have been. I have been going after them.
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
been.
So we could talk offline. I can help you go after that as well because it's
Okay,
just
awesome.
they
Awesome.
have about 100 magazines, right? So yeah,
They do. They do. Yeah, they
yeah,
don't look for black writers though.
yeah, yeah.
So
So we could talk offline about that. Okay.
thank you guys so much.
Oh,
This
you're
is
Very
welcome.
amazing.
welcome.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
All
Thank
righty,
you. Thank
cool. I see a private chat thing. It says, the comment reminds me of the Field of Dreams. It says, if you build it, they will come.
you.
Who said that, Sandra? Yes, that's true. If they build it, they will come. So yeah, so that's one of the things. You're gonna
Absolutely.
build it and then the journalists will come. Exactly. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank
So
you so
that's it.
much.
All righty, take care.
Okay, bye.
So Lindsay, that was really good. That was a different kind of a hot seat, but I think we really helped her out a lot. And then also too, Ready Set Go Speak members, they kind of know that they can get some information before she changes her prices. And it's gonna be like 10 times as much, right? So you all know she put her thing in the chat. So in the private,
That's
so you can go over
yeah.
there and get it. Okay.
People say, when I tell folks all the time, and they don't believe me when I say I encounter so many Black women business owners when I look at their pricing and say, well, you really need to add a zero to that. And in this instance, adding a zero is not enough. She would still be way undercharging. But this is a perfect
Understand.
example of what I'm talking about when I say that I encounter people that say you need to add a zero, and folks be like, nah, you be surprised at how much people discount the value of the solutions that they provide. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And
this was
it's
good for everybody, not just Daryl.
Yeah, and if they did some of the research, I always tell people go to look and see what your competitors are. You do that whole strategy and see what they're charging. You just that was
Damn,
a,
I
that
don't
was
like that. Because
what
what
you
happens specifically, and let's talk about that specifically with Black women business owners. What I see when they do that is they come out and they look at their peers, and then what they do is undercut. So somebody
no
will come
no
out.
not their
This,
peers.
this,
I'm talking about like
yeah,
Cision
yeah.
and
So that's
Broker.
why we gotta
Yeah,
clarify that, because what
right.
happens is
Not that competitor. Yeah,
somebody
don't
will come out who does the same thing as Darilyn and see that her guide is $99, and then they'll make theirs $89. And then
right. No,
somebody else will come out
yeah.
and now you down to $50, and then they just keep racing to the bottom. So we need to
No, we don't want to
clarify
race
what
to
you're
the bottom.
talking about.
Right. We're talking about if you're going to compare, the Oprah level of what's in the industry, in that stratosphere, not the other one. So yeah, so that's the main thing. So yeah, so I just want to make sure that people know that. Just do a little bit of the who your influencers and see where they're landing, so that up at the top of the area. So, but thank you guys so much for joining us today. We will be back next Friday at 2:00. All righty, take care. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Get Out There and Get Known podcast, brought to you by PamPerryPR.com, where you'll get insider tips on how to build your platform, pitch the media, and promote yourself with confidence. Head over to PamPerryPR.com and get the exclusive video training on the 7 must-have marketing materials you need before you pitch in order to be considered in media places or superstar stages. PamPerryPR.com, where you help you shine like a superstar.